Welcome to AP Television, your go-to channel for mastering the AP Macroeconomics test. Today, we're diving into one of the foundational concepts of economics, scarcity. This idea is crucial, not just for passing your AP exam, but for understanding the world around you. Whether you're trying to figure out why water prices rise during a drought or how governments decide on spending, it all boils down to scarcity. In this video, we'll cover three major concepts: the production possibilities curve, PPC, supply and demand, and how scarcity shapes resource allocation. Along the way, you'll see real-life examples and even some tips on how to answer AP exam questions about these topics. So what exactly is scarcity? Well, it's the condition where our resources, like time, money, and raw materials, are limited, but our wants are virtually unlimited. Every society, from the most developed countries to the poorest, faces this issue. Because of scarcity, we are forced to make choices. Should a government spend more money on healthcare or education? Should you save your money for the future or spend it now on something you really want? These are the kinds of trade-offs scarcity forces us to make. In places like California, water scarcity is a pressing issue. Due to persistent droughts, the state has to decide how much water goes to households, farms, and industries. Scarcity leads to tough decisions, like limiting water use or investing in expensive desalination plants. Next, let's look at the production possibilities curve, or PPC. The PPC is a graph that shows the trade-offs an economy faces when deciding how to allocate its limited resources between two different goods. For example, imagine a factory that can either produce smartphones or cars. If the factory makes more smartphones, it has fewer resources left to produce cars, and vice versa. The points on the curve show where resources are used efficiently, while points inside the curve mean resources are being underutilized. Here's a tip for your AP exam. When you see a PPC question, think about what happens when a point moves inside the curve. This usually indicates inefficiency, like underemployment or waste. Now let's talk about how scarcity affects supply and demand. When a resource or product is scarce, the supply curve shifts to the left. This means fewer goods are available, which leads to higher prices. Take gasoline, for instance. If oil production is reduced due to scarcity, the supply of gasoline shrinks, but demand stays the same, so prices rise. That's why gas prices can spike during an oil shortage. Now think about a time when you noticed prices going up for something you often buy. What do you think caused that? Was it scarcity? Scarcity doesn't just affect individual goods. It impacts entire economies and the decisions that governments have to make about resource allocation. Here's an example. A country has a fixed budget. How does it decide how much to spend on healthcare, education, defense, and infrastructure? Every dollar spent on one of these areas is a dollar not spent on another. This is known as opportunity cost. In other words, the opportunity cost of spending more on healthcare might be fewer resources available for education. This trade-off is a direct result of scarcity. To sum up, scarcity is the backbone of economics. It explains why we must make choices, how resources are allocated, and why prices change. Whether it's a government allocating resources or you deciding how to spend your time, scarcity is always at play. Thanks for watching. Think about how scarcity affects your life. What choices have you made recently because of limited resources? Be sure to subscribe to AP Television and check out our next video where we dive into opportunity cost in even more detail.